Alrighty, there we are.
Woohoo!
I finally changed it. I always start with "We are live." I'm like, why? I don't know.
I think that's the traditional go-to. It's a good solid place to start.
Yeah, it works.
It does very much.
But alrighty. Yeah, I haven't watched this movie in years, so for me it was like watching it all over again for the first time, even though there were certain scenes I remembered better than others.
Oh yeah, I think that this is one of those movies. I mean, anything Peter Jackson, it does have those visuals that just stick with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think because I know this was I think 96 as far as the computer generated stuff, I'm like for the most part I think it holds up. I think one or two things are hit or miss.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I was rewatching it, and even on I kind of went between my computer and my phone depending upon where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like the Reaper was pretty decent. Some of his stuff was a little herky jerky, but I think that was
Yeah.
more like what they were maybe going for than anything else. But there's just it felt, and I guess even now, like I just saw the new Beetlejuice in theaters, and like it has such a Beetlejuice, like it has that kind of feel to it
Hmm.
in a good way.
In a good way. I don't know. I mean, at the time they were good, but it's I'm kind of looking at it and it's like watching The Cell. It's like some stuff looks really good and then some stuff is like, what?
Oh, I agree, and it's obviously it's a thing of the time. Like the shot that stood out as a little funky was the one where Dahmer's in the back of the police car at the very end. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can see that the tracking on his ghost is a little bit off compared to the thing itself. So
Yeah.
hello,
Hey JJ.
welcome, bienvenue, come on in.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I was rewatching it this morning and now I cannot remember which scene I thought was a little bit off. Probably, and I don't know if you would agree, but some of the stuff like where he's pushing through the wall, kind of like at the beginning where he's chasing Patricia around.
I could see that. Yeah, that definitely. Like, I appreciate the effect of like kind of going through the wallpaper, going through the flooring, like becoming, like intermingling with the particles of the various substances. But yeah, it does. It's more. It feels very like Bugs, like live action Bugs Bunny. Just the
Mm-hmm.
way it doesn't quite like mesh with the real world.
Yeah. Yeah. Jake Busey appearing in the wall.
Yep, absolutely. The and I think it's because it's a big effect. Like it's not part of the big surroundings. It's its own thing. But the giant like hell worms or hell
Mm-hmm.
snakes,
Yeah.
that like it's not bad. It's a well crafted creature, but it doesn't really. It's a little bit uncanny valley.
Yeah. I think it looked pretty good. I mean, especially the way they did it, where we're actually looking at the inside of him before he pulls back.
Very true. Very true. If that's hell, man, that scares me.
Something. Yeah.
Oof. And I think too, like the riggings that they use for Jake Busey and D Wallace, that they're a little like they feel like they're on rigs, like they don't feel like they're floating. But
Hmm.
again, that's a nitpick of the scene if we're talking effects. So
Yeah. I mean, it could just be that we've after the Matrix, we've gotten spoiled by wire work.
100%. That's there's nothing that's better than that. So
At least so far.
yeah.
I'm sure
If
once
anything,
something better comes up, people are going to watch it and they're like, that's so hokey.
oh yeah. Well, that's anything. I mean, look at how, and it's not the greatest of examples, but like look at the prequel trilogy. Where what that did back in 2000. Between 99 and what, like 2004, and what we look now. It's like, oh my god, it's so cartoony. But at the time, and
Hmm.
those effects are always going to improve and get more realistic.
Yeah, they always are. I mean, that's the good thing. But unfortunately, it's especially if it's a good movie when you have like this one, when you have certain effects that just don't really quite work. I mean, I don't think it hurts it because the story is good. So it's one of those things I'm willing to ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely, you do, and I think it's a thing that we say a lot, but it's definitely a thing that you have to take that fact that it was that time and place. You know, they did with what the budget was, and at the time, I mean, I think I can never remember the name of Peter Jackson's like the art house. Was it Wingnut? Like they were kind of on the cutting edge of a lot of what was done. Like they did amazing stuff with not that much money, generally speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, for the time, I think that was very well done. I mean, at that time, the stuff that we would consider hokey now, it's like it just blended right in because a lot of things looked like that.
Oh yeah, definitely so. And in that time, I think too, it was probably on the higher end edge. But even the way that they did a lot of it, you know, the way that they did the ghosts and the way that they imagined how they moved and interacted with the space was very creative.
Yeah, Yahtzee was saying Weta.
Yep, that's it. I think Wingnut was his production studio, like the overall production studio. But I think you're right. It's Weta. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like overall, I like the movie, and it's funny because I was still young at the time, but but at the time, I didn't know that that was Dee Wallace in a dark haired wig. Like I didn't recognize her at all.
Oh, that's fair. I think I don't think it was. Yeah, she didn't look the way you expected her to look by any stretch.
No, it made very, very different look. And then same thing with Jeffrey Combs, who I really didn't know who he was at the time because I wasn't as into movies as I am now. But looking back at it, I think he was a good addition to the film. I mean, I don't want to say blends in well. I just can't think of the word right now, but he fits in.
Oh yeah, he definitely fits the world. He's so intensely creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to describe him. He's so like it's that weird mix of like the town sheriff that has a vendetta out after that one person because they think they know them better than everybody else. Yeah. And then he's just so sporadic. He's like, you know, pops open his shirt and there's a whole like lead vest. It's like, you can't get to me. I'm wearing a lead vest. And
yes.
Like, sir, this is a Wendy's, you know?
Oh gosh. He's so quirky though, but I mean, and I guess he was intended to be comedic relief, even though he does have that creep factor.
And in this kind of movie, I think that is the role that, you know, the early Peter Jackson movies all kind of had that character, you know?
Oh, that was one of his more memorable performances, in my opinion, especially that one particular scene.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It definitely, it's indicative. It is the heart of what his character is. He's and the way it was shot, like everything about it just worked really well together.
Yeah. At the end though, when he rips his shirt open and you see all these scars and stuff on him, though, that reminds me of the guy at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, and I'm like, I'm not sure which one came first.
I'm not sure, actually.
But yeah, I mean, to me, it's very similar.
Yeah, and I mean, whether it took inspiration or just, you know, two things just happened to collide like that at the same time, the way they sometimes do, it definitely makes an impact across the board there too. So, I will say, I think that his character in Reanimator, if he would have gone on, I feel like he probably would have ended up as this guy.
Probably. I think that sounds about right.
I mean, it definitely goes from like, he's like, he gets to a point where he's just like, oh, I'm tired of, reanimating things. I'm going to go do something else. I know. Take over this lead vest factory and start scaring the locals.
Oh my gosh.
With the power of the U.S. government.
his earlier scene where he freaks out over Lucy yelling, I'm like, it's just priceless. That high-pitched squeak that he does and runs out of the room.
He's almost like animated, like literally kind of animated. Like the energy he must have brought to the set.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they laughed a lot when they weren't filming.
And again, that kind of seems to be like those early Jackson movies. They seem to have that for, you know, obviously they're filming a movie, but they do seem to have a pretty good sense of humor and pace to them. Like there seems to be a general, like a cheerfulness as
Mm-hmm.
they're covering this very dark subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, the film definitely has a feel to it. It doesn't feel like totally 90s, but it's quirky, it's fun. I was engaged the entire time. I didn't feel that there were any points where, oh, it's lagging here. Oh man, it's so slow. I'm ready for it to be over, which I've had that with movies before where I just
Oh yeah.
start clock watching.
Oh, 100%. And it's easy to do, you know, because there's a lot. I mean, even the best of movies have those moments where you're kind of like looking at, you know, like, oh, God, are we there yet? And then they get to the
Yeah.
third act and it's like, boom.
And then some of them just fizzle out in the third act.
Yeah. Yeah. That last 15 minutes tends to be pretty crucial.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I can't think of any favorite scenes in this one. I mean, I think overall it's really good. I just nothing really that stands out. I mean, you have those two sidekick ghosts, or three of them actually, which I forgot all about them.
I think it's easy to do. Arlie Emery, the army ghost, I laugh my ass off at him. I love what he brings to the table. He just like it's more cameo than anything, but he is just all parts of it. And then they bring it back in with Michael J. Fox's character to, you know, to kind of take on the Grim Reaper. That I don't know. That was just so cool.
Yeah. The final fight was fun though, after, you know, he had done his out of body experience, and it was very Looney Tunes, like where they're getting hit by the vehicles, Michael J. Fox is getting run over by cars.
Oh, 100%. It's and it's got that great energy that you expect from something done by Peter Jackson, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think his later work, I don't know, I want to say he developed himself a lot more. Like I still remember Meet the Feebles, which I think
Oh,
is a lot of fun.
yeah, his early stuff between Bad Taste, I can never remember. Is it Dead Alive /
Yeah,
Brain Dead?
Brain Dead,
And
yeah.
yeah, Meet the Feebles. This feels like he seems to work in steps because he kind
Mhm.
of like was you know, the experimental film with those three, and then he did Frighteners and Heavenly Creatures, and then he did like the Lord of the Rings stuff and
Yeah.
everything since. Like it's kind of like you said, honed his craft, became more an, you know, ardent professional or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish he had kept some of that indie feel though.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and I guess they kind of tend to lose that a little bit as well. Like John Waters was really quirky when he was doing his independent stuff, and then I think Hairspray was the first big studio film he did,
Yeah, I would
which
agree.
it still has its out there moments, but not as much.
Yeah, it's an odd mix of things, I think. Like I I agree with you because there is that like like he's got, I think Frighteners is a really good mix of what he did and what he went on to do. It was that kind of like linchpin. Um and yeah, Bad Taste movie cover is, oh
Yeah,
my god, it's
very.
fantastic.
And but I've never seen that movie. I've always wanted to, and it's one of those I keep forgetting about it.
Oh, you absolutely have to. There are moments where you kind of need a strong stomach, but
Oh,
I mean, it's not gory per se, but there's one scene in particular where there's stuff, and it's just like, oh god, they actually had to eat that on set.
ugh. I can't even see it, and I'm saying ill.
But it's well, like it is like, especially if you know a little bit about it beforehand, like all the work they've been in. There's a fight where he was like battling himself on the edge of a cliff, and it's
Hmm.
the way that it's shot and everything else. It is, you know, I don't know. I for me, when it comes to his early work, no notes. Just he's ambitious, he goes for it, he's unapologetic, and he's raunchy, and it's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, that's what makes it so great.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I kind of wish he would dip back into that and, you know, at least do somewhat of a throwback. I
agreed.
mean, yeah, I mean, people that know Peter Jackson now, they'd be like, "What is this?"
And that would be a great way to kind of not say screw the studios, but kind of screw the studios, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
see that.
and not in like a bad way, but just like a, okay, you know what, you know me for this, but look at what else I can do. Look at this incredible, like look at this incredible practical work. Look at the humor
Mhm.
and the gore and the, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Feebles is one of the ones that sticks with me the most.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he did the first remake of King Kong also.
Uh, I think his was it 90 or 2006 or 2009? I don't remember. Maybe it was later
Somewhere
than
in
that.
there.
Yeah, no, his remake or his remake of it was well done.
I like it. Some people don't seem to think it's all that great though. But I think he did that right after Lord of the Rings, if I'm remembering correctly.
I believe so. There were a couple in there. I always like the stuff after Lord of the Rings. I tend to be a little bit scatterbrained on. It just doesn't stand out to me the way his early stuff does.
Yeah, yeah.
It happens though.
No, I mean, it's still good stuff though. I mean, it's not
Oh
like
yeah.
one of those situations where you can say he made his transition and then he just, totally nothing, never mind.
Oh no, not even remotely. He's his quality, his attention to detail, it's all there, and it's certainly not changed. And that goes to show you the kind of filmmaker he is at his heart, regardless
Mhm.
of what he's like, what's put in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's really well, considering the ones I have seen, which are a few, but I don't think there's really a film that I've seen where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Never mind.
Yeah, and everyone is going to have those films that are a little bit less so, but his margin of kind of not hits is very small. Like everything he does is solid at the very least and awesome at the most.
Hmm. Oh, see, Peter Jackson does throw an Easter egg in some movies, though. Oh, yeah, there was that reference to, what was it? Dead Alive, that was the something rats. He hasn't actually abandoned his roots. I remember a certain creature in storage, and yes. Yeah, that was a throwback to Dead Alive.
Nice.
Forgot all about that.
And again, no shade on him. He does incredible work. It's not even a question.
Oh yeah, if you don't know what I mean, you have to look out for it. No,
Oh,
it's pretty subtle, but it's totally there. I think it's written on the side of one of the crates that are being hauled around at the beginning of the movie.
nice. I have to go back and watch. It's been a really long time since I've watched King Kong.
Yeah, I've still never seen the original one though.
Oh, it's from a. You look at what Peter Jackson started with, the practical effects and the models and all that stuff. I mean, I mean, it was a titan for a reason then, and it holds up despite. I mean, it's cheesy in its own right, but it is like it's amazing what they did, and they didn't know anything more at that time, and they used what they had, and they made it amazing. So
Yeah, I mean, I have no complaints about that one. I thought it was good. I always thought Jack Black was a weird choice, but I mean,
is he better as I can't think Denim. I think his name was Denim in that one, or yeah, Carl Denham or something like that, or is he better as Minecraft Steve coming up in the Minecraft movie?
oh gosh. I think Minecraft is, just because he's been boxed in, probably a better fit.
Yeah, I would agree. But again, stepping outside his box, trying different things,
Yeah.
pulling the crazy, like, bah character.
Yeah, I mean, I like it when they do other stuff. Like Jim Carrey is really good at doing serious dramas. So is Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, I would 100% agree with you there.
Uh-oh. Minecraft film discussion upcoming.
That day may come, but that day is not today.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Minecraft besides the weird pigs, the zombies, and Minecraft Steve.
I don't know anything about it at all.
Well, we can see what your pups think of Minecraft.
Hey. The doorbells went off.
Ah, that's a good reason. You never know who's at the door. It could be Minecraft Steve. It could also be Jake Busey.
Oh gosh. No, Busey would fit, I think.
Yeah, he would. He did a really good job in this. Like, he's got that, I don't know, that sense. Like, he just is very good at being creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of too many other films he's done. I think he was in Arbor Demon, but that was years later.
He was there was a war one he was in, I think. Maybe that was his dad. I apologize. I did not come prepared very well.
No. I mean, I've rewatched it. I didn't take any notes or anything. So
Starship Troopers he was in a year
yeah.
later.
Has anyone seen the Salem's Lot trailer? I usually avoid them, but I did take a look. It looks pretty interesting.
I'm a big fan to see what they do as a modern I guess update. Like the original or the miniseries was always a fave of mine. And I love the book. Like Stephen King is awesome when he comes to writing for the most part. So
he's always really good. I like all of his detail.
Oh yeah. And he does take some interesting this attempt at doing vampires was certainly something outside the box.
Well, he did it one other time with The Night Flyer.
Oh, you're right. And that was quite like I at least the book. I don't remember the movie or miniseries or whatever it was, but I appreciated the story too there. So
yeah, I like how he took a different take on vampires, where it's what is it, 2 big fangs, or it's 1 big fang and the mouth just overstretches.
For Salem or for Night Flyer?
For Night Flyer.
It's been a long time since I've read the book. Or was it a novella?
I don't remember it being a book. I think it was just a mini series.
Okay. Yeah, I offhandedly the details I've left in my brain. I tried too much work stuff.
Actually, it was a novella. It was in part of 4 Past Midnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you were right.
Oh, no worries. It's one of those things where it's like they seem too short to be full-length books, so you're kind of like, well, maybe. So
it works. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, I wish I had taken notes.
Oh, for Frightners? I mean, like you look at, again, I guess kind of the way that they played with the ghosts at the time, like the fact that like ghost bullets could affect the characters, like the poor Stu, the poor guy. I mean, he had his face ripped off. He got shot with bullets. You know, he got run through. You know, his soul taken. Guy took a lot of damage. Like it was really neat to see that, because most of the time you don't see that ghost on ghost like carnage, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Hey, Bigfoot.
Hello.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
And then
their own world could affect each other. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep
No, God, no. Apologize. Apologies. I get, my brain gets ahead of me a bit. Like even the general story that we walk into, you know, the stuff isn't explained. Like it's not overly explained. You find out what Frank does. You see examples. It moves on. They don't take the time to go, well, Frank lost his wife and this and that and blah, blah, blah.
No, I like movies where they just throw you in and you learn as you go, instead of like modern films where they pretty much spoon feed you the story.
Yeah, they trust their audience.
And
again, that's a strong thing with Peter Jackson, is he tosses you in the deep end and goes, okay, swim now.
Yeah, but it's never that bad.
No, definitely not. But again, yeah, it was interesting to see it American based, because everything else to that point had been more like Aussie or New Zealand based.
Yeah, definitely different feels, but yeah, it does kind of add to the whole, I guess, mythology of the ghost world and things I had never even thought about. I mean, especially because ghost stories tend to be pretty stereotypical. Like usually they're vengeful, or you got the Beetlejuice type thing going on.
Agreed. And they all of the locations they use, like and obviously, you know, if you've got ghost, okay, we're going to put them in a graveyard, but it was a well placed graveyard. It was appropriate. They kind of, you know, it was a I don't know. I appreciated what they did with the sets and the kind of location stuff.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's really good. I mean, I don't have any scene to where I look at it and I'm like, well, this one just quite doesn't fit, or they lost me a little bit here. I mean, I was just into the movie the whole time.
Absolutely. What did you think of the whole, like, kind of the lore of Jake Busey and Dee Wallace being these awful killers, and then how they kind of continued after death?
I mean, I liked that. Once again, one of those things I never thought of, but he was just so obsessed with his death totals. I mean,
He's a
that was his
competitive guy.
business.
Yeah, it was. When I went back to watch it, it's been same thing for me. I haven't seen this in quite a long time, and the idea of like I had it in my head that it was like he had to collect souls, but like then all of a sudden he's not collecting souls, and it's like, well that's weird. But then it's like when it comes down to something as petty as like just body counts and trying to and not being able to say to anybody, well, I got this record. You can't brag to anybody because you're dead.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless. I mean, unless you're talking to other ghosts doing the same thing.
Right. And how many ghosts are going to be also killing people in the afterlife?
Who knows? But yeah, it was like his obsession. And then there's a curiosity I have at the beginning of the film where he's tormenting Patricia and he's chasing her all over the house, and she's obviously scared. But then we have that whole line about the Ouija boards, and they were communicating with each other, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like, was this some weird game that they played because they were both psychotic?
That's a good question. I kind of took it as that first time, like knowing in retrospect that they had been communicating, maybe the first time Patricia actually contacts him, and she doesn't know what he is and what, he doesn't know what the hell's going on either. It might have been a case of just like kind of overreaction.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like watching it for the first time, it makes sense. I'm like, there's this big scary ghost and he's bothering his old girlfriend. But then again, she flips and she's actually part of it.
It might have been a way to like screw, like you say, screw with them too. If they're trying to like screw with her mom, because her mom was so kind of overbearing, with good reason. We find out.
Yeah, but I mean, to me that was crazy. She treated her like a child.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure she saw her that way, being that she was so like, oh, you've been, I don't remember how long she had been in the mental institution, but like that whole, she's treating her with kid gloves because, she's got this thing that we can't talk about. She's from that generation.
Yeah. Yeah, keeping the tight reins on her.
Yep, exactly. Like she steps back into normal society and she's going to run amok and start, like slicing people on the street because, that's what people like that do, according to her.
Well, I mean, if Johnny Bartlett had never come back into the picture, I think she would have been well adjusted. I mean, she might have been a little off just because she had spent so much time in an asylum, but I think she would have been fine.
I think so too. But I suppose you get that, oh, my boyfriend, where is he? Oh, and then you toss that in, and yeah. So, love makes us do weird things, right?
It's like one of those weird long distance relationships because she's alive and he's dead.
Yeah, it's hard to send letters to the other side.
Ouija board.
Yeah. She's like obsessive. She's like calling him on like 5 different Ouija boards.
Oh gosh. He has a burner Ouija just to avoid her.
She's like, honey, what is this? Nothing, doll. This is Johnny's burner board. What the hell? You called me a fruitcake? How dare you?
Yeah.
Have you been talking to Marilyn Monroe?
Oh gosh. Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield.
Yeah, exactly.
And there you go. She can't get after him or do anything about it because he's dead.
Yeah, 100%. Well, she's got his ashes, so in theory, she kind of holds the key to his existence.
Yeah, kind of like, I'm mad at you. I'm going to throw in some holy water today.
Exactly. If you don't pay attention to me, you're going to the consecrated ground.
But then that's another thing that was never explained is and I don't think the mother even knew the ashes were there.
Well, and she's not, and obviously it's done for dramatic effect, but
Yeah.
she talks about how, her dad died, and, she's got to keep his ashes here.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of take that as his ashes could be either the dad's or it could be Johnny's.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, she just pulled a switch.
Yeah. Subtle phrases and whatnot. So, and the first time you watch it, it's easy to miss, but I think obviously in rewatches you see all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like how the film plays off of that. It's like you get a completely different story watching it the first time, and you've got the reveals, and everything's still fun and great. But then you, like you said, you rewatch it and you catch things that you missed.
Oh yeah, and it does, like you said before, like those big scenes stick out to you, but there's a lot of stuff that's really easy to forget, and when you go back and go, oh my gosh, here's this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Or just kind of in my situation now, I'm just thinking of these weird scenarios like, well, what if this?
yeah. And I think the good movies are the ones that make you, in a good way, question, well, what if this scenario? Like, it kind of expands out and makes you think beyond what you're given.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Yeah.
wonder, like, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh, I was gonna bring up, and I having watched it, I'm not 100% sure where this sits, but when they go up to the gravesite and there's all of these ghosts, despite the fact all of these ghosts are supposed to go up to heaven or, down to hell after everything is said and done, what are they all doing there?
Especially lying in their graves. That has to be so
Yeah.
boring.
It's like, is this like a spa?
It's like I'm a ghost, but I'm laying in my own dead remains, and I'm not disturbed by it for some reason.
Well, I suppose if you really want to get to know yourself, you lay in your own tomb? I don't know.
You made your coffin, now lie in it.
There you go. You refused the light for too long. Sorry.
Probably, but yeah, then they have like this weird zombie thing where the ghost they did it with Stu where he starts decomposing slowly, but the other two, the sidekick ghosts, like they didn't look that bad off. Like you didn't see them digress in any of the scenes.
No. Ron looked really bad, and I don't know, like, for him specifically, because I don't know, maybe the way that they die, like they because like over the course of however many days, like he goes bad quickly. He's like a rotten apple.
Yeah, he does. And maybe that's meant to be ironic because he's this health nut and he's into looking great and feeling good about himself, and now he's falling apart.
Right. I mean, they do touch on okay, you had the chance to go, but because you either didn't feel like you were dead or you decided you wanted to stay behind because, I don't know, maybe the clinging to life as hard as he did made him kind of more gushy.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, definitely opens up a lot of questions.
Yeah. And I mean, for movies like this, and I don't want to say that, like the plot and all that stuff isn't important, but it kind of feels like it's kind of a side thing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, okay, here's cool visuals, here's this cool thing, don't think about it too deeply.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, and I guess just because I went so many years in between, I think the last time I watched this, I was in college. So here I am 20 years later, and now I've got all these questions that I never had before. To me, it was just the film, and I was just there for the ride.
Oh yeah, and I think that's, again, not to downplay the importance of plot, but I think you do run across that. So, ooh,
I haven't heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I don't know that much about it. Is it is it on streaming or is it in theaters?
Oh, here's another one I missed. Nope, it isn't as good as the stuff.
Are you talking Frightners? I mean, they're different, but I think that they both have. I think I don't know if that person is referring to Substance versus Stuff or Frightners versus Stuff. Stuff is great. It's goofy. Like it's the best kind of goofy, weird horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like it absolutely creeps you out, but it's done in such a fun way.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact that they threw in social commentary, which I thought was pretty smart.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think too many films were doing that at the time, other than George Romero with his Dead trilogy.
yeah. And I think horror definitely falls into one of those two camps. It's either slasher fun or slasher fun plus commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Not that all of them are slashers, but in that realm. So, I mean, they definitely share some DNA as far as the practical side when they pull those out. But and they're both cheeky, which is good.
I'm actually glad this one never got a sequel, but I don't think Peter Jackson is really into sequels anyway.
No, absolutely not. I don't know what you would like things like Beetlejuice or Alien. There's places you can go. This is it's not a small story, but it's such a contained story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would you could maybe take it next generation, but I just don't think it would work. You'd lose what made it good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if say it were to be redone, it's I have a thing against modern films. I always say they come off as too polished. They have no soul.
Yeah, I mean I think excuse me, the level of technology to make something like say low budget for now versus 30 years ago is such a different bar. Like back then, it was if you wanted to get like a zombie look, you'd wrap cellophane around someone's arm and kind of paint it up. Now
Mm-hmm.
there's so much technology that you can use at your disposal to kind of get those effects.
Yeah.
People will go out of their way to make stuff look that way, but by and large, the technology is there to make that everything looks polished, or it can look polished regardless of what you aim for.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people may agree, maybe, but I still say modern film uses too much computer graphics. Like,
Yeah.
I watched Beetlejuice recently, and I didn't care for all the CGI.
Actually, I know that there was some in that, but I know that one specifically was more like they aimed for more practical because they wanted to pay homage to what had been done. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely would have had more than the 89 one for sure.
Yeah, I mean and I don't know if you've seen it, so I don't know if I'm
Oh, the new
out
Beetlejuice?
any spoils. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. Because I would agree. I think they'd use some, but by and large, I feel like at least from what they said, there was a fair amount of practical use with that one. But yeah, there's a lot of movies that where they take it in such a weird way. It's like why was that needed to go CGI? That you could have done something that looks good now and 15 years from now
Yeah.
by sticking to something simple.
And I think practical effects, at least in my opinion, they hold up better. And I kind of wish that opening scene with Monica Bellucci where she's putting herself back together, I wish they had done more of like a Hellraiser thing instead of all
Ooh,
this computer stuff running around.
yeah, that would have been cool. I wish they would have done more with her. Like I enjoyed it for what it was, but like the ghost stuff in Frighteners, there's kind of a disconnect as to like shows up at the beginning, shows up at the end, not to
Mhm.
spoil, but like she's got this cool thing and they don't really take advantage of it.
No, it was kind of obvious to me that she was the ex-wife when as soon as she showed up. He's like, "No,
Oh.
I don't know her."
It was an interesting movie. It feels like Burton Unleashed. There's even a couple jabs at Disney, which was kind of funny, but
I think I missed those.
no worries.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. For some reason, like I know we're getting off topic, but I
No,
was
it's
watching
okay.
the movie and I'm part of me is just kind of like I'm not getting into it. I really didn't get into the movie until the dancing cake scene.
And that was pretty classic. It went on for too long. That whole, I guess that last 15 minutes thing, like I said, I mean, I don't know. Your last 15 minutes kind of is what your people are going to leave with. But yeah, that cake bit was a little bit much, but it was fun for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a nice homage to the original. The Underworld, I really enjoyed the way that they did the way they expanded upon it and such was nice. But was it needed?
No.
I mean, any of those sequels, I don't know. It was better than the Ghostbusters one. That one just, oh god, oof. The legacy stuff, where they take every little thing and turn it into this gigantic bit. It just kind of does what it does. So
Yeah, it's like, please stop over explaining. Just let me enjoy this for what it is.
right. We don't need to know every single bit. Every single pairs of shoes that they wore, and why they ate this for breakfast. Just they went out there, they did a thing. Ghosts followed them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much my only critique about Beetlejuice is I think it had just had too much computer generated. Even the sandworm, I kind of would have liked him to be, a puppet or something.
yeah, no, it was interesting what they did. I don't know. I think I need to go back and watch it again just to get a better sense of the movie itself. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I tried not to look too again. It's a popcorn movie. It's that balance of, okay, there are these things that are wrong with it, but end of the day, it was messy, but it was kind of fun. So
Yeah, I think they just waited too long for a sequel. Plus, I don't think it needed one, but I watched it anyway.
Yeah, well, and I think that there's that curiosity that hits you, like, oh, here's this thing. So
yeah, I mean, especially after Wednesday, I'm like, I just jumped onto the whole Jenna Ortega boat.
Oh yeah, well, she's good at what she does. She's fun. She obviously lives in that world and does it very well. So
Yeah,
I will say I learned something, and apologies, spoilers. I didn't know that Jeffrey Jones was actually still alive. I thought that he had passed. I don't know why, but
oh, here we go. Was there any stop motion in the movie The New Beetlejuice? Didn't see it. I don't think there was.
See, I thought that the whole sandworm thing, I thought that was stop motion.
I thought it was computer.
I'm not sure. The way I had understood it, it was stop motion, but I could be wrong. I'm honestly not sure. Because again, they talked about the things that they tried to do to, obviously it didn't have the stop motion, the amount of stop motion the original did, like the whole Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, yeah. Stretching their faces and doing all that stuff. But I could have sworn that was done in stop motion. Like I say, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But something to go and look up once the stream is over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's one of the better, bigger budget horror movies that came out this summer / early fall. But
yeah. I don't know, as soon as we hit August, it's autumn as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not quite September 22nd, but who cares?
As long as you hold Halloween in your heart, it can be Halloween all year long.
Yeah. If anyone could put stop motion in a movie in 2024, Tim Burton could. Yeah.
Actually, there is a movie called Stop Motion, and it is incredibly good. It's I don't remember if it's on Shudder or Scream Box, but very well done movie. Highly suggest it.
Yeah, I was wanting to watch that one when all the trailers and stuff were out, and then for some reason I noticed I forgot all about the movies this year. Like even Abigail, that was one I wanted to watch. I still haven't seen Longlegs.
I haven't seen Abigail. Have seen Longlegs. It's an interesting movie. Like the visuals are absolutely amazing. So. And Nicolas Cage he has such a unique look in that one, so they absolutely want to see Abigail. It looks fantastic.
I don't know. It's hard to forgive him after Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way that he rolled. Some of the stuff, like he just like look at Mandy and The Color of Space, and oh god, what else? There's so many of those. Like he is a very eccentric individual.
Yeah, he is, but that's what makes him so fun. It's the expression crazy actor totally suits him.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does. I even enjoyed him. The movie itself wasn't so great, but Willy's Wonderland was actually quite a lot of fun.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't say. I think he says one thing in the whole movie, so be that good or bad. But it's more of a Friday Nights at, or Five Nights at Freddy's thing than what you're gonna get from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But
Okay.
not that if you don't care about that side of it, you don't have to know the lore of that. I mean, it's a killer animatronic movie, but they do some fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's just with modern film, I don't keep up with it as much. Every now and again, I'll see something that interests me. Like I had seen the posters for Abigail, and I purposely avoided the trailers because I didn't want to know what it was. I like to blind watch stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's the best way with any of this stuff. I don't remember what movie it was where people said go in as blind as you can, because the movie itself is quite interesting, but the trailers are gonna give you preconceived notions that may or may not be true of the actual movie. And I don't remember if it was Longlegs or maybe it was Longlegs, but that one definitely hits you out of left field. So
yeah, I haven't even seen anything for Longlegs. I haven't seen the teaser or anything like that. Usually if it's something I'm excited about, I'll watch the teaser and that's it.
That's a good way to do it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I made the mistake of going back and watching the full trailer for Beetlejuice, and I'm like, I just watched the whole movie.
Basically, yeah. No, I would agree. I mean, they do take it in different directions than what happens in the actual movie. Like you see the big parts, which I don't know, I guess it's always that balance of you have to get people psyched about what you're bringing to the table, but you also have to keep the big stuff in the shadows.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you would have showed me that and then showed me the movie, I wouldn't have thought that things went where they went. But yeah, it did give away some of the big plot pieces that really didn't need to be, said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but
no,
they're very, very few and far between that really are.
True. And it's such a subjective thing. Like, what makes a perfect movie in that respect?
Natural Born Killers.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a fantastic movie, no doubt.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson was at his best.
Yeah, he's great.
Sorry, go ahead. Apologies.
Oh no, I was going to say he's a lot more versatile than people give him credit for.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember watching like Cheers, and he was a bartender there, and then like, oh, he's an actor over here, and he's all big and buff, and it's like, wait a second, how is this little schmucky guy over here that played the bartender the same one as this buffed out dude with the shaved head? How are they the same individual?
I don't know. The only thing I remember about Cheers is the Kelly song. And I'm like, that was the only lyric, Kelly, Kelly, Kelly.
Yeah, it was its own series, or its own thing. It was fun. He always, I don't know why he stood out to me as a character amongst everybody else, but yeah. I think it was just a shock of seeing him there and then seeing him in movies, and it was such a different experience.
Rock and Roll Nightmare. Ooh,
that is fun. That is awesome Canucksploitation. Maybe not Canucksploitation. I'm not sure if that's the right term for it, but Canadian Canadian horror. If you ever get the chance to see is it Zombie Nightmare? Similar premise.
Rock Zombies or
no? I think it was Zombie Nightmare. It's got Adam West. It's got the same leading guy, Thor. I can't think of his name. The main guy in Rock and Roll Nightmare is also in Zombie Nightmare, and similar premises, but very fun. I enjoyed it.
This stinker. I'm just kidding. It's awful, but really, really fun.
And I guess that's what makes a good movie to me, is if it can be like weird and fun. I love like the low budget crazy
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean, you tell me. There's at one point there's a guy that shows up in a spangly. Well, I guess it's not spangly. It's a spiked like speedo, and it's all like spangly and stuff, and just like like just completely ripped. And it's such a weird scene, but it's fun. So
My first thought was good luck sitting wearing that.
yeah, that would be. You'd have to have a pillow or something, and even then, I'm not sure if that would work.
But yeah, as far as Frighteners, I can't really think of anything. Like, is there anything that you
Um,
wanted to mention, or?
I mean, I thought Michael J. Fox did a great job. The actors were all very well cast. I think they did a good job. They were clearly having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the plot was the plot. It was, there were holes, but it was a good time. Like you said, the CGI was not perfect, but it was good for the time. Yeah, I enjoyed it. What it was, it scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it. Like the way that the Grim Reaper was almost like tar when he moved.
Oh yeah. Which is funny because it's just Bartlett wearing the outfit.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the great thing. What a great like turn.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it was just he considered himself one because he kept collecting dead people.
Oh yeah. Well, and I suppose to scare those souls, like it's like if you can get them scared, their souls or their deaths are sweeter, I suppose.
There's always been that theory, but I don't know if there's anything actually that would ring true about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But and I
A more
just
satisfying kill.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and where he was so obsessed with numbers was that no, he was in he did a few
Spin City?
movies. Yeah, he did Spin City. He did a few other things. But
Yeah, Spin City is the one I remember the most. That's when you were able to start noticing signs of his Parkinson's.
yeah. He was in Scrub. He was in a couple episodes of Scrubs as a guest host or guest person. Really, like he was in some of the best episodes of that show.
Mm.
So, like they hit the funny and the sincere, some of the best. Like it is some of their greatest writing. So,
yeah. Let's see. I can't remember him ever being in another movie, anything like this one that makes it fun too. I would say Teen Wolf, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Back to the Future. I mean, that's an obvious one, but
yeah, I mean, Teen Wolf is fun. It has its own personality, also.
very much. I don't think that they've hit something like that since then either. Like I know the show was okay, but there was nothing quite like the movie.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just wish that studios would come back to making these fun, quirky movies.
Well, and I suppose in those cases, the big studios are going to bet on what works, like what they can count on. But you do get the indie studios. I mean, Shudder has come out with a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of other, sources on streaming where this kind of stuff comes out, but it does take more to find them.
Mm. Oh,
it's
Michael J. Fox was in Casualties of War.
Ah, okay. Nice. Also, always a big Bear fan. Go Bears.
Oh, I forgot all about Teen Wolf. I grew up watching that one.
No, the van surfing scene, I wanted to do that so much. I'd always be like, please, can't I just get on top of the car and surf? And they'd be like, no, you can't do that. What are you thinking?
It's like the 80s had something about riding on top of vehicles. Like Footloose had that scene in the beginning with April, and she's in between both vehicles trying to do her impersonation of Van Damme hanging between two vehicles.
That's right. Oh my God. Then you got the was it a Ferrari flying scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where they're going over the big hill, like the two car valets are like taking it over the hill and they're just like,
yeah. They just went crazy with it.
They did, very much so.
Well, I can't blame them. I'm like, other than just parking it, when are you going to get a chance to drive something like that?
Oh no, exactly. I mean, it's there, They're never going to know, quote unquote, unless you put several hundred miles on it.
You forget your hamburger bag in the back seat.
Also true.
Yeah. I can't really think of too many others as far as with vehicles.
No, I can't either. I mean, I'm sure that there's a ton, and if you sat down or Googled it or whatever, you'd probably come up with a ton. But yeah, I'm drawing blanks too.
Yeah, I mean that's the first one that comes to mind is Footloose. And I still have no idea how in the world they did it. I'm like, that was a brave stunt person.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do well, I guess. They do it so we don't have to.
Oh gosh. Yeah, because I imagine the drivers were also stunt drivers. Like they had to really, and who knows how many times they had to practice that and actually had mistakes and accidents.
Oh yeah. Oof. Only there's no safety net underneath those suckers.
Mm-mm. Well, not just that, but you're right in between vehicles, so there's a chance that the tire can catch you if you fall wrong.
Yeah. All of a sudden it turns into a horror movie.
It's so easy to turn just about anything into a horror movie.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen like on YouTube they'll do the fan edits of different movies and turn them into what they're not. So like they're the ones I've seen are a couple of years old, but there's one where they turn Mary Poppins into a horror movie.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's quite good. I'll have to track it down for you. But there's others that kind of do that too, and they're amazing. So
I'm stuck on the Instagram ones that they put out where they did, for example, Silence of the Lambs as a romantic film.
That's awesome. I saw that done with Jaws too.
Oh gosh.
And they're playing "You're Beautiful" in the background.
Oh,
like the James Blunt song.
Yeah. That's funny.
Very.
They could get away with a whole lot back there. What is it? That's one thing older films have going for them. They blew an entire neighborhood in Invasion USA.
Ah.
No, they blew up. Yeah, I think that's pornographic if they blew the entire neighborhood.
Well, you know, everybody would come away with a smile on their face, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yes.
Unless you have those complaints, too toothy.
I guarantee you there's no pleasing everybody. Like, it wasn't sloppy enough, dang it.
Yeah.
Counterclockwise, not clockwise.
Oh, gosh. Stop biting my head.
Exactly. Man, I think we've hit all the important subjects. You know, we talked about Frightners. We talked about vehicles in movies. We talked about neighborhood blowjobs.
Well, that was a mistake with me reading, but it worked out.
You know what? It's a live stream. That's where this stuff is supposed to go. It's supposed to be random. So
yeah. Neighborhood blowjobs. It's like the local kissing booth.
It's instead of a lemonade stand, you get a whole bunch of adults saying, "Oh, we're raising money for whatever thing. Come on, back into a tent."
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else.
I think we've covered the essentials. I mean, you know, if anyone watching this hasn't seen Frighteners, which I would imagine people have at least a passing understanding of the movie, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, it is.
It's you know, to see Peter Jackson progress, you know, and I would say all of his old stuff, it's just, you're not going to walk away and not have a good experience with it because it is goofy and gory and just so fun. And this is actually quite a departure from what he did previously, but it's not a bad departure. It's that maturing and becoming more, you know, professional as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But in keeping your roots, so.
Yeah, I can see that. Not too much on the gross out stuff though.
No.
I don't think there was any actually.
The worst one was Ron got his face like blown off, and something happened to Stu. Like his face kind of got ripped apart, but happy endings and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. I mean, for Frighteners, I think we covered just about everything.
I think so too.
Any standout scenes? I mean,
I mean the where you have the whole bit where I can't think of her name. Ron's wife, not Lindsay.
Lucy.
Lucy, yeah, Lucy. Where Lucy and Frank are sitting down and having the whole discussion, and
Oh yeah.
Frank is like, or Ron is like, oh well, she likes this, and then she says, well, no, blah blah blah. That's really fun. The final bit is really good. There's a lot of good stuff. The interactions with his kind of companion ghosts, the scene where the babies are flying around.
Oh yeah. That reminds me of an old commercial where I think it wasn't a stroller. What is it? Those bouncy chairs that you put babies in and wheels on the
bottom. Walkers.
Yeah, Walker. And I forget what it was a commercial for, but he was tearing around the entire house, and I guess maybe that might have been inspiration for it.
Possibly, yeah. They were just so darn cute. So
the woman, my babies. And like, she must have had triplets. They all looked very, very close in age.
Very much so. But to see your babies flying around, and then you see this hoax thing, that draws Frank in. It's kind of like, well, your babies, regardless of if he's a fraud or not, whether you think that, your babies are still flying like 8 feet off the ground.
Yes.
Clearly there's something going on.
She didn't think about that.
Nope.
No, she just knew she invited this fraud into her house.
But no, good cast of characters, enjoyable. The people that are supposed to be annoying are annoying, but they're not like, the worst kind of annoying. So
no, they're not like Franklin in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oof. Yeah,
that was rough.
Yeah, no, agreed 100%.
I still felt bad that he died in his wheelchair, though. It's like, he can't run away. That's not fair.
No, and uneven turf probably is difficult when you're talking about wheelchairs.
Yeah. But surprisingly, he was able to just get around just fine out in the woods. Didn't get stuck on anything or...
Well, he could elevate or make his wheelchair elevate the way that Daleks can in the new seasons of Doctor Who.
Probably.
He just says in a monotone voice, elevate, and then he's able to float. Making great time. Don't ask him to go too high, but he can cover distances pretty well.
Well, it's not Professor Xavier.
No. Is anything Professor Xavier, though?
Kind of hard to beat.
True.
But yeah, I think that's about all I've got, unless there's any other movies or anything recent that you were wanting to mention.
I offhandedly, nothing specific. Those are I'm trying to think. Well, I guess I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's kind of different area of stuff. No, I think that those are the ones we've discussed are solid choices. Go in with expectations, under control for anything you see that's new, because especially if it's legacy, because those expectations will ultimately kill you if you go in expecting something too much. Better to be surprised and go, woo, this is amazing.
Yeah. Have fun with it.
100%. So,
but yeah,
good stuff.
I think that's all about it.
Woohoo!
So yeah, I guess we'll call it a stream there.
I appreciate you having me on. It was a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for stopping by. I think we haven't chatted since Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
It's been was that last like October.
I want to say it was.
I thought it was something in there, but I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I know it was last year.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly when.
You know, that's another one of those movies that they keep trying to work up a sequel for, but they don't pursue it until they're able to come up with something that really works. So that's good.
Yeah, the thing is, with such a long wait, people eventually, well, I should say myself, I eventually lose interest, and then there's that risk of, well, what if it's not that great once they finally put it out?
No, agreed. It is a there's definitely a risk. And it's that risk versus reward thing when you're talking about that kind of a deal.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely love to have you back again. Hopefully, not too long a break in between.
No, absolutely. I always enjoy talking with you.
Yeah, it's always fun. I enjoy our chats.
We cover all the important subjects. Given enough time, I think we could probably figure out world peace.
Who knows? The answer is boobs.
Yes, yes.
That's usually the answer.
I can't say I disagree.
Alrighty. So, oh, do you have anything you want to promote? Anything that you have coming up?
So right now I'm kind of uploading whenever I can. Life has been a bit busy, but if you want to see like mostly horror related movies of various eras, I do reviews on those. I also am in the middle of riffing on like short form videos like PSAs and training videos and stuff. So and I've got a wide range of people that are coming on to kind of do it with me to kind of celebrate my 5-year anniversary on YouTube. So it's been a lot of fun, and there's been a lot of stuff that's come out, and they've been pretty funny. So I'm pretty proud of them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you can do with a PSA, but then I guess it really depends. Like, especially the hokey ones.
That's the key right there, is finding the funny and the less hokey, and then really going after the funny ones, or the
Yeah.
unintentionally funny ones. So there's a couple of if you go looking, there are doozies.
No, I've never. Well, the only PSA I've ever seen was back in elementary school, and it was about not walking behind the bus because it's unsafe. And you actually got those scenes to where it was implied, but you would see blood on the snow.
Oh yeah, I think we actually might have covered that one. It was like a 3-parter. They cover 3 different students in like elementary, middle school, and high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course, kids being kids, we asked to watch it again.
Oh, 100%. Well, you know, if it introduces you to a little bit more of horror movies, there's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I can't really think of. That's the only one that sticks with me. The one about the bus.
Well, the bus safety is always important.
Don't run in the aisles of the bus.
Don't interrupt the driver.
Yeah.
Don't surf on the top of the bus.
Oh gosh. Yeah. How no one noticed he was up there, I have no idea.
He is very stealthy.
And like especially the weight from his shoes up there.
Oh man. Well, was he playing a guitar when he was up there, or was that just or was he just surfing? He was just surfing, remember. Maybe. Yeah, I don't either, but that's okay. Something to rewatch. A good reason to go back and check it out.
Yeah, always. So I don't have anything coming up this Sunday. I've been doing watch-alongs lately, but I'm actually going to be out of town tomorrow, so I haven't decided what next week's watch-along is going to be, but I'm hoping to make them a regular thing.
Cool.
He should have been playing a guitar.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already in wolf mode.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't have anything coming up. I don't have any reviews right now that I'm working on. Mostly I'm just doing live streaming, which eventually I hope to change that and get back into videos.
Well, and I'm sure it's a case where you're doing what you have time to do. I mean, that's for all of us, that's kind of where you have to, do the thing. So
yeah, pretty much. But alrighty, yeah, I guess we will call it a stream. I totally am thinking about lunch right now.
That's a good thing. It's getting to be that time of day.
Yeah. But alrighty.
Thank you
That
so
is-
much again. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd definitely love to have you back again. I
Yeah.
think you said you prefer the horror comedies, or are there any other genres?
You can bring me on for almost anything. I just say horror comedies because that's kind of the area that I know, but I'm always willing to branch out and try new stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah, I like to try and match people up with stuff they like instead of being on for like a genre you don't care about. It's I imagine that's kind of tough.
I'm pretty open to anything as long as it's not like the really hardcore like revenge or torture porn or things like that.
Oh yeah. No,
Anything else I'm good with.
I think Jen's the only one that I can actually bring on for those.
And she's a master of that. But she knows them. She enjoys
Yes,
them. She's so much fun, and she makes them interesting. Like she's
she
an
does.
excellent person to bring on for those, and
Yeah,
she's just a cool person.
every time I have those chats, I always have to have my pen and paper ready.
Oh, I can bet.
But alrighty. So as usual, that is all we have for you guys for today, and we will talk to you later.
Take care.